All right, it's now time to talk about scoring. So here's what we kind of have, and your stat sheet will have all this information as well. Okay, so let's talk about what an at bat is. So anytime you walk up to the plate is an at bat. And there's only so many things that could possibly, there's quite a few things that could happen, but there's only so many possibilities of what would happen. Okay, so, we've already talked about hit, and, if you're hit by a pitch, kind of talked about, a couple of these things already, bunts and those kind of things. So, let's go kind of in order. So anytime you're up, that's considered an at bat. So anytime you come to the plate with a bat, and it's your turn to hit, that's considered an at bat. Base on balls or a walk, that is when the pitcher will throw 4 balls. Okay, the umpire says no, none of those pitches, 4 of those pitches were not hittable. Okay, so when that happens, you are able to take 1 base. Okay, if you get walked, that's 1 base. That's 4 balls that were bad. Okay, so you're on first base now. Okay, we've talked about a double play. We have used the 4 to 6. All right, 4 to 6, kind of covering it. And that's not cooperating very well right now. There we go. So 4 to 6, and then the 3. We've talked about that one. Okay, where it's grounded to the second baseman. And you have a runner on first already. This guy would be out, and then before this guy can make it, that third baseman is already has the ball before the hitter can even make it to first base. So that would be a double play. And we will work those. We'll do 4-6-3. We'll do 6-4-3, where this guy covers the second base, steps on it, and tries to throw to 3. And then we'll do 5-4-3. We will do some 3-6-1s. Remember, this pitcher, and this is going to be more of a job for your head coach, this pitcher a lot of times is actually going to cover first base. All right, so at any time that the first baseman would have to field a ball, maybe it's short, it's too close up for the second baseman, he's going to field it. It's too far away from the pitcher, so first base is going to field it. So the pitcher is actually going to run over and field first base for the first baseman because he's fielding the ball for him. So do a couple of all those infield scenarios where it could possibly be a double play. All right. An error. Talked about it a little bit. Let's say the batter, right, hits one to, let's do an outfield example because we haven't done anything too much, right? Batter hits a ball, goes to right field, right fielder's out there waiting for it to come down. And, this guy takes a nice little lead, seeing if he catches the ball or not. This guy runs it out. Okay? He's looking to see if he catches the ball. He's looking to see if he catches the ball. Well, he drops the ball. Okay? And then he has to pick it up. By the time that happens, this guy's already advanced to second base. Okay? He gets the ball, throws it back into the second baseman. Now the ball's in the infield, and the runners are probably going to stay, most likely. Okay, that would be considered an error. All right, and all you would write down in the stat book is E9. All right, because it was made by the right fielder. It's just an E9. So that's kind of how that one works. Talked about this one just a little bit ago. And what kind of happened, I said this was in the gap, the ball landed here, and these two players in the outfield, the center fielder and the right fielder, are trying to get it. And what it is you already have passed first base, you rounded it, and you're looking, they still don't have the ball right now. And that just turned into a double. So here's kind of like your order of operation here. All right, so if it's an extra base hit, right? So an extra base hit, that would be a single. That would be a double, and that'd be your first extra base hit. Okay, so that's an example of an extra base hit. That's just a single. That's not an extra base hit. That's an extra base hit. All right, so that's a double, that's a triple, and that's a home run. Now, depending on what type of home run it is, okay, it could be a inside the park where the ball stays inside the park, and you must be super fast to get around all those bases before they could get it to you. All right. and then, or it could be outside. You could hit a big towering shot that just sails way out, lands way out here. It's in play, but it's out of the park. It's out of the fence, and that's called an outside the park home run. All right. So there's also a thing called a fielder's choice. All right. So you have a runner here on first, and you have something here. Well, it's 2 outs, right? So, the ball's grounded to shortstop, second baseman covers here. He's trying to hustle down to the second base. He's trying to hustle down to first base. The shortstop just scoops it, tosses it to second base, not right here. That would be a fielder's choice to get you out of the inning because there was 2 outs on you. All right. A force out, the most common example is you're trying to get that to that base. Someone usually to first base. Someone usually fields it and just throws it over to first base. An illegal pitch, and we'll be watching for these. An illegal pitch is maybe you don't start on the rubber. Maybe you don't actually you stop your motion and you don't throw the ball. Once you start your motion, you do have to follow through with a pitch. That would be an example of an illegal pitch. An intentional walk, you can signal the head coach, or if your head coach isn't there, your captain, you can signal an intentional walk. Let's say second and third, right, are open, okay, or sorry, they're occupied, but first base is not. This person who's up to bat now, he's been hitting the ball. He has a high average. He also hits home runs. So you know what? We're not going to pitch to you. We're just going to let you take first base. Okay, go ahead and take it. You're on first base, and we want to actually challenge the next guy. All right, so that would be an example of an intentional walk. We don't want to pitch to this guy or girl for whatever specific reason. So we're gonna let you have first base. Go ahead. Left early. Okay, so and I'll get to it here in a little bit. Stolen base. If there is a person on first base, it could be any base. You can steal any base, except for first base. So if the pitcher winds up, you can't steal a base. So I guess I'm going out of order a little bit, but you can't steal a base until the ball has left the pitcher's hand. Okay. If an umpire catches it, they'll say you left early. So if the pitcher pitch is still, the ball's still in the hand and you leave that base early, well, that's an out. Okay. You can't do that. You have to wait until that ball leaves the pitcher's hand and it's making its way towards the catcher before you can start to try to steal a base. You can steal, but you have to wait. A pickoff, all right, is if the pitcher will throw you out. Okay, pretty simple there. I don't think that's going to happen too much. A put out is when you just the ball's grounded and you throw it to you make an out is pretty much what a put out is. Pretty simple there. Run batted in, that's an RBI. So let's say this guy's really small now. That's okay though. So you have a runner on third, okay, and you get a hit. Okay, ball falls somewhere in this area. Okay, that's fine. Right before the right fielder, but the right fielder one hop and grabs it and throws it back to four. But in enough time for this guy to run and score, that is called a run batted in. That is an RBI, and that will also show up in your stat sheet. Sacrifice. Let's put the same scenario on. So you have a runner on third. You're up to the bat, okay? There's 1 out. You hit a fly ball to center field, right? Fly ball to center field, and this will actually be a drill for later. I'm going to actually show you with my friend, and we'll kind of set this drill up for you. Fly ball to center field. So I'm going to run. He's going to catch the ball, though. All right. So he had to move up a little bit for it. He caught it. And this guy, he's going to wait on the base because he's going to see if he's going to catch it or not, right? He's going to wait on the base. It has to be on the base. he does catch it, but I'm waiting on the base. Now that I did that, that's called the tag up. We've talked about it. Now I can run home. He might try to throw it all the way home, all right? But as long as I wait on that bag, my foot is on the bag, I can run home. This guy would be out, so I kind of just did this. That's called a sacrifice. I got myself out, but I brought a run home. That is called a sacrifice play. So that's a sacrifice fly ball to center field, right? And then stolen base we've already talked about. Preseason games, if you have questions about it, make sure you ask then. In the season, you can still ask, but we are going to kind of, we're going to keep you by the rules. We will keep you by the rules in preseason as well, but by the time our regular season rolls around, make sure we know all these things. I know it's a lot if you haven't played. The more you play, the easier it will become, I promise.